Welcome to our first history lesson on the peacemakers of 1919, focusing on the motives, aims, and clashes of the Big Three at the Paris Peace Conference. The 1919 Peace Conference occurred in a world of chaos. Millions died from the Spanish flu, communist revolutions were exploding across Europe, and the Allied blockade of Germany was still causing starvation. The Big Three peacemakers were like a dysfunctional group project. Georges Clemenceau of France, known as the Tiger, Woodrow Wilson of the USA, the Prophet, and David Lloyd George of Britain, the Weasel. Georges Clemenceau, the 77-year-old French realist, was driven by trauma from the Franco-Prussian War. He mistrusted peace, believing Germany was inherently aggressive, and relied on guns and borders for security. Clemenceau was uncompromising, because the war had ruined French soil. Retreating German troops adopted a scorched earth policy, destroying industries and homes. His aim was to keep Germany poor and unable to rearm. His second motive was the demographic crisis. With 1.4 million French soldiers dead and 25% of French men aged 18 to 30 killed, Clemenceau feared Germany's larger population would overwhelm France in the future. Clemenceau's demands included massive reparations to cover the full cost of the war, complete disarmament of Germany, and the immediate return of Alsace-Lorraine and the Saar coalfields. His most extreme demand was creating an independent Rhineland Republic as a buffer zone. Wilson and Lloyd George refused, fearing it would guarantee a future war by placing millions of Germans under French rule. Clemenceau famously mocked Wilson, feeling the American was arrogant. He believed Wilson preached morality from the safety of America, while France suffered in the mud of reality. Woodrow Wilson, the idealist, was a former professor and deeply religious. The USA entered the war late and profited without fighting on its soil. His mission was not revenge, but fixing the world through new diplomacy. Wilson clashed with Europe's old diplomacy of secret treaties and the balance of power, which resulted in World War I. He favored new diplomacy based on open covenants, self-determination, and collective security. The first four of Wilson's 14 points aimed to prevent future war: open treaties, freedom of the seas, free trade, and all nations reducing weapons. Self-determination was the radical idea that people should rule themselves. This meant an independent Poland, returning Alsace-Lorraine to France, and breaking up the Austro-Hungarian Empire. This clashed with the British and French empires. Point 14. The baby was the League of Nations. Wilson's bottom line was creating a general association of nations. He was willing to compromise on almost everything else to secure European agreement on the League. David Lloyd George, the pragmatist, was stuck in the middle. He faced public hate, demanding revenge, but Britain also needed Germany to be rich enough to trade and create jobs. Lloyd George won the 1918 Khaki election by promising to punish Germany. The British public, having lost 1 million men, demanded blood with slogans like "Hang the Kaiser" and "Make Germany pay." The Golden Egg theory highlighted Britain's dilemma. They could not cripple Germany, Britain's second biggest customer before the war, because a bankrupt Germany meant unemployment in Britain. In the Fontainebleau Memorandum, Lloyd George feared that a harsh peace would push starving Germans toward Bolshevism. His strategy was to leave Germany strong enough to act as a barrier against Soviet expansion. Clemenceau accused Britain of hypocrisy. Britain was soft on land borders, which didn't threaten them, but ruthless at sea, seizing all German colonies and destroying their navy. The conclusion was a botched compromise. As Lloyd George put it, "I was seated between Jesus Christ and Napoleon." The resulting treaty satisfied no one, being too harsh to reconcile Germany and too weak to protect France.